Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mark and Tracy, for having me. And yeah, so I guess before I kind of dive into that, just to give folks a little bit more knowledge of what my foundation does, basically, we are committed to the prevention of body focus and mental health stigmas. We work with people in the pursuit of their overall wellness. And
Mhm.
our mission is to use the power of art and expression to foster creativity and build connections, to create community in which individuals can thrive. So, like through our work and our programming, we do this because we focus on personal stories and lived experiences. So, a lot of what we offer are like creative workshops and live performances and music live streams and virtuals and campaigns and events and videos and films and books, and it just kind of goes on and on. But the idea is that our programs engage and instill hope and encourage creativity with a deep desire to heal and be impactful. So personally, when I think of art, art is something that it inspires and speaks to our needs to reveal and heal and transform. And so through the various art forms I just spoke about, one can explore their innermost thoughts and feelings where their, I guess I would say, where their potential can just soar. And I always go by this quote, and I think about it quite often, and it's by Galinsky, because he states that at its best, art is like an unexpected messenger that helps us
Mm.
look at our life and our experiences in different ways. And to me, that means that art can be very healing because it's this beautiful shared process, not only to those that create, but also for people who experience it, which makes it timeless and limitless. And I've always believed that art can take on any shape, all its own. And sometimes we can control it, sometimes we can't. But regardless, it's a fascinating process. And to me, it's breathtaking, it's meditative, it fills our darkest emotions as well as our happiest emotions. And for many people, it is very therapeutic. And I guess for some people that are able to experience the healing properties of art, the great thing about it is that, well, there's so many great things, but if I had to name a few, it reduces stress. Folks have more experience, they experience joy and have peace and increase their creativity and their intuition and self-expression. They're able to process emotion and release pain. And I think creating art through self-expression rather than making it just perfect, it aids to exploring our deepest dreams and our goals. For me, I know it definitely unlocks my mind. When I went through my own eating disorder myself, which we'll probably get into in a little bit, it really helped me process and unlock my mind and find clarity and meaning for myself.
Y- you remind me, as I was listening to that, we here in Santa Barbara, we ran an after school program for at-risk kids where we taught them computer animation. So it was art. They learned drawing and then modeling, animating, rendering, and doing all of that. And they were very, very introverted.
Mm.
And I was noticing that about them, and I said, listen, here's what we're going to do. When the animation is done, I'm going to invite the community to come in, and then you're going to get a chance to talk about your work and what it meant to you and how you expressed yourself. And there was a lot of anxiety about that, and I saw that as an opportunity to teach them about being able to express, and I saw that as it was very much healing, to your point, and helping them do that. Would you explain breaking the chains? Where does that name come from?
Well, I kind of guess we'll talk about what I just mentioned. So, breaking the chains is a deep internal piece to my own recovery.
Mm,
I suffered from an eating disorder when I was younger, and I had a love of arts. I was a professional dancer. I received
mm,
a full scholarship to college as a dancer, and thereafter that, I went on to many dance performances internationally. I designed programs for cruise ships and danced on them, and
mm,
just a variety of different shows in New York and such. But I was struggling with an eating disorder, and
mm,
it didn't start in college, but it began to probably process itself through that, because I was in front of the mirror 24/7,
Sure.
and I started relating my body to not being or feeling good enough. And
Mm,
I was exposed to some people who had an eating disorder in college, and I never could figure out
mm,
why or how they could do that. And but through it all, it seemed like everybody within the cast I was in, it was very prevalent around me. And sooner or later, I ended up falling into one, unfortunately. And we all kind of normalized it and didn't talk about it. And even when I wanted to talk about it, nobody else wanted to talk about it, because I don't think anybody wanted to give it up. And during that time, I kept this phrase, and I'm not kidding, breaking the chains just kept resonating in my mind. It wouldn't go away. And the more I explored it, and I got off the cruise ships and I moved to Los Angeles, it just still wouldn't go away. And I realized that in order to heal, I need to do something. And I think breaking the chains has something to do with it.
mm,
And so I started sharing my story with so many different people, because dance was my healing space. It was where I felt in tune and touch with my feelings, with my thoughts, with my emotions, and all these things. And I thought, there's something to this. It's not external, it's internal. And I had a deep desire to heal. And so I started sharing my story with people, and it resonated with them. And I kind of started out just saying, hey, just with people I knew, like photographers or other people in my field, just let's explore, like, just, self-awareness, self-esteem, body love. What does that look like? And then sooner or later, things progressed into like campaigns and videos. And I got a call from TV stations to say, hey, can we use some of this stuff? And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this real? And then I
now it's a
started
thing.
connecting. Yeah, go ahead. What?
So I'm curious. One of the things that's very interesting about this is it feels like the demographic, while you serve all ages, it 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 does tend to be younger,
Mhm.
and and the way you reach people is through social media, which is fantastic. And you have influencers and you have young people. All of that is really good. I'm curious though, what are your thoughts about how social media has exacerbated this notion of self-worth? Because I'm always looking at people who seem to have a better life than me, or look better than me, or enjoying things more than me. What's your, how do you square that?
Well, we actually have a program that really cultivates that conversation and engages, like ages 15 to 22. It's called How to
Right.
Love Your Selfie. And it's a
Oh.
social media cognitive dissonance program that's like
Mm,
an eating disorder prevention program that really focuses on everything that you just said. And it comes like in a 5 video workbook piece, where it was developed by my celebrity ambassador, Jillian Rose Reed, who's also on my board. And then it just grew, and my clinicians wrote the workbook piece to it. And it really focuses on helping youth navigate through the trials and the tribulations of social media, because certainly there is so much of that compare and despair. And so this program really helps them. It's cognitive dissonance. So instead of just, all these photos and images coming through to them, we present it in a way that's conversational, and we give them social media literacy prompts to engage them, to think and process and kind of question what they're what they're looking at, why that content means something to them, what they can do about it. There's so
mm,
many different, yeah. And it's kind of fun because we made it fun. It's kind of like love your selfie, be your selfie, explore your selfie, cherish your selfie, all these different selfies to ultimately love your selfie. And it's not therapy itself, but it definitely engages conversation. It's an educational support piece. And it comes in probably we run it in a 5-week course.
huh.
And so, yeah, we're really excited about
So
that program.
So when someone finds this and they feel aligned to your mission, I think when an organization has a clearly defined idea and a center of gravity, if you will, it has a magnetic appeal and it draws in the people who, partners and funders and the participants in the program. And so now we have a young person who's like, oh man, where is this thank you, right? And they're really loving this. How do you, what kind of resources do you have so that the family and the parents and their circle can support this person as they're going through your program? Is that or is that not an issue?
It's not like, as far as like, if it was something like How to Love Your Selfie, we definitely have like this guide and this resource that's kind of like, whether it's something that like say a school and organization wants to use it to facilitate the program to their students, or like to even, their organizations, it's something that they're guided through and it's a process. But it's also, parents can use it too, so that they have kind of like this toolkit for themselves and resources and things that we've collected, because the program itself is research based, and we do give them a lot of information and how to be guided. And then if they need extra support, we certainly set up time with my clinical director, like our sessions, to go through the program. How can we be supportive? Are you
Mm.
understanding what you're doing? How can we help you work through that program itself? That is probably our main program that we're able to assist in the way that you're talking about.
What are the things and I've been in the creative arts, I feel like my whole life. And while it feels very natural to me to be creative, I don't have a problem with creating in any form, though I could probably do better at dancing. But all the things I feel I'm comfortable. I don't know that I'm good at it, but I'm comfortable. Yet I found in my experience, a lot of people don't identify as being creative. Say, oh, I'm not creative. I'm just not creative. And how do you, I think that's a story. I believe that's a story they tell themselves. And I'm curious, how do you help them stop telling themselves that story so that they can then go on and do whatever kind of art or creativity they want to do?
Well, I'll answer that in a minute, but it made me laugh because this just flashed in front of my head. When I was in high school, before I was a dancer, I would loved arts. I either had a choice to go to dance or to go to art school, and I chose dance. But I remember in high school, my art teacher told me this, like, what is it, 3 words or something? There are no mistakes in art. And I
Correct.
thought, oh, there's no mistakes in art. And that has lived with me throughout, I don't know how long.
Isn't that
And
great?
yeah, it really has. And I got a little story on that, but let me answer your question a little bit. No, I hope I answer it. So like, I can speak for like BTCF and how we think of art. And we think of art as community, meaning it's a shared process. What we do with others, they can do it too. They can be a part of it. They create with us. So even like if we do a virtual, which we've all had to do
Sure.
because of COVID, we do many virtuals. We have toolkits for them that we send out to all attendees. It becomes a resource for them. It's a shared experience for others, and hopefully in turn they share it with their families or their friends or communities themselves. And like, we have a really cool day happening next summer, which is all about creating, showing, sharing all these different forms of art so that people learn for themselves and share with others that day, but also outside of that day. So art to us is also a social piece. It's a building community, a communal resources rather. It's like, if you were to go to the library, you're going to gather all these resources and learn and utilize them and make that mean something to you, and that's good, but you may be able to share them with others. So we try to think of art in so many different ways because we can repurpose art and think about it creatively in so many ways. And what I mean by that is, like, I would tell somebody, I think of a story actually just I had the other day with my clinical director. I mean, we can repurpose so many things around our home and make art. We can gather all kinds of odds and ends. We don't need to be an artist or be great at art. And my clinical director was saying, yeah, I could repurpose like a stub of a crayon and melt it with a blow dryer and smear it and make it this beautiful picture. And I thought, yeah, I can break it and adhere it with broken pieces and make it be like this mosaic or something. And it's not necessarily like I'm great at art, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, even making vision boards and things like that, they're not necessarily just cutouts from a magazine. maybe you have old clothing or ribbons or bottle caps or something that you can create that represents a dream for yourself that you can actually just have fun, because art is also supposed to just be fun. It's uplifting,
Exactly.
it's engaging, right? And we as a community can also help create more like variety with others and make it available to people that may not have the resources or the know-how or anything like that. We can donate our resources and talents. We can donate our materials. We have so many opportunities to make art available to people all over. And I love, think about art this way, as this communal piece. Like just I think it was last week, yeah, there was this huge chalk walk, and it was open to the
Mm,
community with live artists and everything, and these local artists. They were creating all these amazing pictures and scenery with art, with chalk rather. And the kids were involved, the families were involved, and there's live music, and it was this amazing communal piece. And it's like it's like getting involved with your communities that way, and you don't necessarily have to be this great artist, but it's that shared experience with one another. um I know, like, we're talking about it a lot during the holidays, so like just different ideas. Like I know one of my board members is doing like a flower decoration evening for centerpieces for Thanksgiving. And then like I heard about another person we were talking, she's doing wine, cheese, and vision boards. And what I'm getting is that I think that it's about rethinking how we continue to utilize and share with others. It builds our resources, it builds our knowledge of art, it builds our community. And we don't have to be like amazing at it. It's just shared experience with one another, if that
De-
makes sense.
Deborah, you've really opened our eyes to the possibility. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience.
Absolutely.